Boom.
Boom shakalaka.
Boom chakalaka. And Josh leaves.
That's Josh.
We over the summer didn't have meetings because it's obvious we had camp to put together. We had camp to put together programmatically and physically and all that good stuff. So anyway, our first opportunity to meet was last week, 2 weeks ago, whatever it was, and everybody was on vacation, Jason, and there were only 3 of us, so we didn't get much accomplished. I wanted to make sure we had the input and feedback of everybody. Of course, the agenda was Encounter and Insomnia. So, Stucon. Yes, Stucon, I'm sorry. And Insomnia. So, Josh has been thinking and dreaming and being a little bit more strategic. So, Josh, I'll just kind of turn it over to you and you kind of bring us up to speed with philosophy and where we think we might want to go, and then we can dive into it.
Yeah. And begins not all my idea. No, I wanted to do some changes, but had some good ideas from Jordan and Andre as we were kind of chatting throughout the summer. Kind of looking at student conference. Most of you guys know we kind of threw it out several meetings ago. Like, hey, let's really think about how effective it is. What could you do to kick something off on your campus that may be a little bit more effective than student conference? And so we're going to kind of tweak student conference. We're going to replace the name, going to kind of incorporate something totally different as far as our vision and philosophy, and then strategically plan a kickoff event at a campus level the Sunday following, where we all do the Stucon replacement, and then we all do the rally the next Sunday night for the sake of some strategic stuff that we'll do during the leadership night. But I want to kind of walk through some of that kind of philosophy because I think us changing it won't affect the group of students that you bring to Stucon. I think it will most likely change the kids that I'm inviting at a local level and what we want to accomplish with our students that are there. So instead of keeping the structure where we're doing session, dinner, session with kind of 2 topics and then moving into campus time, I'm going to try to change it up, kind of have an event that feels different than other events that we've had before, with the main purpose of really feeding in the leadership of our students and making this like a leadership night. The conference is all focused on equipping student leaders, encouraging students to take ownership in their ministry at the respective levels, and allow that energy to feed all of our kickoff events that happen at a campus level, which I think in theory would be a much more evangelistic for every one of you all having it in your communities. And so that's one thing we'll kind of talk about in the end. Is like, hey, what can we do to have an awesome kickoff event? What do we want to brand it? All that stuff. But during this leadership night, or event, whatever you want to call it, I know we kind of got a name, and we'll talk through that in a second, is having this first part of the evening, be in the auditorium, round tables, we're having discussions. Andre had a great idea of a countdown video, having a lot of trivia and different stuff that incorporates into student ministry, the crossing, leadership stuff, all kind of different stuff that incorporate in there, something that's kind of fun, easy for us to kind of walk in, something the tables can do together. And then our goal is to have different campuses at every table. And so you're not going to sit with just a table of 48 or just a table of Macomb, Hannibal, or Keokuk. It's going to be, hey, at this part, man, we want you, you need to be divided. And it's something where we'll have the auditorium doors locked, and we will use a concrete lobby to congregate everybody. We'll try to do some interactive stuff in the lobby, have some stuff going that's enjoyable. and then be able to have speakers and stuff out there where we clearly announce like, hey, we're heading in, make sure you're not sitting with your campus, yada, 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 as we roll in and open the doors to get into the auditorium. And then we will have, not 100% sure on some stuff we're going to talk to today, is during that first part, we will have different topics that talk about student leadership. And a lot of table discussions, and it's going to be student-led, it's going to be student-driven. Our hosts are going to be kind of walking with that and kind of really funnel like, hey, students, it's time for you to talk. We'll have an adult at every table to make sure conversation is pointed in the right direction and to make sure that we are protecting the table of students who are overpowering and over-talkative, and making sure we are hearing the voice of every student and really valuing them as a leader. And kind of walk through some of that stuff, and that's where we're going to speak a lot to the head, the brainstorming side of it. And then we're going to do dinner right there at the tables. Not sure what we do during the dinner time, if we want to do something that's a little bit more interactive than just eating, or maybe just let the kids eat, have a great time. But we'll walk through all those logistics. And then the second part, after we get done eating, after that, we're actually going to move the whole clan down to the studio. And we're going to have this area locked off. And down there, we're going to have a very more intimate environment set where we have, that's where we're going to have more acoustic-driven worship with maybe a small piece band or a cut-back band. And the goal in this environment is to really speak to the heart. Where you have all this leadership stuff that we're really equipping them, we're empowering kids, and then we get to the second part where we'll have worship, something where we really speak to the heart. We'll have worship, something where we really speak to the heart, and then ending on this worship, and then we'll head into our campus times, to where our goal in the campus time is to take it from this leadership head concept to heart back into this concept of leadership and sending out as we talk about our campus levels, talk about what we're going to do the next week, talk about our strategies, what we're going to do to feed this kickoff that we are going to have at a campus level. I think it could change kind of the dynamic, and I think it will bring a huge ownership of our students knowing that this is something that's a little bit more exclusive, that allows them to be able to say, hey, this is a leadership thing. And even if they're not considered a leader, it's still a place for them, I believe, because we can talk about the potential and the opportunities that every one of them have feeding into that stuff. So that's kind of the mindset behind it. We did some dreaming last Monday. Sonny did some voodoo on his computer, got some great ideas, and come with this idea of 7. Is where we kind of were running with the last meal on Monday. And here's the idea on 7. There he is. Here's the idea on the 7. You can call it 7 Leadership Night. You can call it 7 Student Leadership Summit. We don't know what the tagline is. I kind of like Leadership Night. But the whole idea of 7. We like to use the thing of 7 to kind of be really cohesive in everything that we do. We're going to have 7 topics throughout the night. We're going to have 7 chairs at every table. But more importantly is, man, when it comes to leadership doesn't turn off. It's 7 days a week. And then really kind of use that to leverage everything that we discuss from the leadership side. And I think probably one of the heart moments is going to be this idea that Jesus makes his mark on you 7 times a week.
And also, as leaders, for you to make your mark in the world, make a difference 7 days a week.
And then you can see in these different concepts, the priority is 7. That's going to be kind of what the event's called. I don't know if it's Student Leadership Summit. I don't know if it's Leadership Night. I put on all my mock-ups, I put Student Leadership Summit because I know that's kind of what was was stuck in my head from Global Leadership. But then you see the less than and greater than kind of incorporated in there. And that's what we're gonna try to use some of that language to kind of talk about the leadership night into the outreach night. Where the leadership might be a lot of inward focus, like, hey, this is stuff for me, this is stuff that I can glean. Or we say, hey, I want me to flip the script, and next week, man, it's outreach. It's all everybody else, and kind of grinding there. I think it will give us something fresh. I think it'll allow us to get something different to our students, and I think we could all reap an equal benefit.
One of the other 7s that I don't know if you mentioned, I may have been messing around, was we'll give them 7 things to do during the week.
Mm-hmm.
Cards that, hey, on day 1, day 2, day whatever, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Give them some practical.
From
Huh?
student conference, like they're going home with those 7 cards.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And that's another thing that was great here is think strategically, like, hey, what are our topics we want to hit? What do we find to be the most important? I think if we all throw our 3 up there, we'll probably see a common theme of what we deem as important. And then we got to figure out, what's our 5 kind of corporate thoughts? What are our 2 kind of more intimate topics that we want to hit? And then I really wanted to put our brain around branding, packaging. I want to put our brains around strategy of what we can do at this event to help feed the next week at each of our levels. And that's like falls along the lines of when you have these 7 cards, and it's every card is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We're on the card. Every card has something different that you can take and pursue that day. And hopefully we'll probably brand each of them whatever topics we hit. And that's going to be kind of the lens and perspective each card will tackle if we do it right. But I know there's a lot to be done in a little amount of time. So that's where I was going to kind of throw that out. Does you guys have anybody from last Monday or from any of the conversations that I've had leading up to this, do you guys have anything to add to kind of the philosophy, concept, ideas?
I had a couple ideas, and I just was thinking about it as you were talking. I was thinking about the going into the auditorium for the students to go have to sit with strangers, and really setting that up maybe really well. We're either having like funny or crazy questions on the screen that's rotating that they have to ask their table, or maybe it's stuff like on the table that is just getting them interacting with strangers well. And then also, like, what does that look like going into the second session in studio? Are they with that same group that they just met? Are they going to go mingle with others? Are we just going to be all together? How do we keep them with that group or with outside of their campus? Because they're going to naturally go back to their friends or whatever at any opportunity they get. So really, like, having an atmosphere that's creating meeting new or whatever. But again, maybe going into worship and having more intimate questions or something that they're asking this group of people.
Yeah, that's a good thought. There won't be any chairs in the worship area.
I was wondering.
It's going to be like, wow. We're going to keep it really, really tight.
I'd say, like, in that setting, once they leave, they go into this whole other setting, it's going to be more about them and worship, like, so them and God versus them and, I would feel like them and each other, so.
Right.
Then that concept is probably done once they
Yeah.
go over there, and it's more about.
How long is this
Be more
first,
vertical.
I'm just gonna call it session of worship and then speaking, worship. And there's 5 speakers, right, in this first,
The first part will be no worship.
there'll be no worship.
Yeah,
Got
we'll try to be really interactive with video breaks, with kind of different stuff in there.
Is that in the auditorium at tables at that?
Auditorium,
Okay, very good.
round tables,
Mhm.
and then we could utilize I don't know what our ability will be with being September 9th. Because it's kind of nice, we don't have a huge type of tech request. The only tech request I would do is say, hey, can we get the massive GLS screen up on the stage, which we may not be able to have. But projector's still hanging, so maybe it won't be that much work. But doing that in the auditorium and all the chairs and stuff, that's basically stuff that we can all do. And then we'll already have all of our tech stuff down in the studio set up prior, locked it down. So when we're ready for that, we don't have to really grind it out Sunday, setting it up. What we'll have to, our setup Sunday will be flipping tables in the auditorium, where we'll just need microphones and media. That's what we do it. Interact with the lobby, we need to be flipped and be a little bit more interactive for students. And then while the students are sitting at tables and stuff, we'll have a meal team come in, and then they'll set up all the meal stuff in the concrete lobby, where students come through one door, funnel their food in the lobby, and then go back in the other and go back to their table, where we continue whatever that looks like. But so that's in there. We'll just be a lot of table conversations, a lot of stuff from the stage, a lot of media, and trying to keep it very, very focused. I know you even talked about finding a way to maybe even try to find somewhere each table to submit answers to, doing some type of interactive stuff like that, where we can throw it on the screens. I know I've done some stuff like that before, but maybe it might be more protected if we have all the leaders are the ones that are funneling the answers. Then it's not people just throwing in random stuff. Something we can do there. Idea. Kind of further clarification. Then we haven't figured out time frame on stuff, but we think in the second part is going to be dominating worship, and the two topics that you hit are going to be like 5 to 6 minutes, and you come up like I think like when Brett at student conference did the darkness thing, he came up and was like boom, he was pedal to the floor. He's like, let me talk to you. And I'm thinking something with that tone that was going to roll into our worship and kind of hitting there to where they're going to deal with stuff more on a personal level. And they're going to be crammed in this room, I think, and we're going to design it on purpose for that to happen.
And it's all standing the whole time.
Standing, and then I would assume you might want to be sitting. I think it might be wise for us to have them sit down during the speaking part.
Yeah.
Just for the
Yeah.
wrestling and
Yeah,
type of
I
stuff.
agree.
I don't think it's a big deal for them to sit on Carpet Square for 10 minutes
Right.
total.
Sounds good. All right.
But that's my logistical side.
Okay.
Anything else to add? I'll take note of the icebreaker questions and that, because that would be huge. That will really have to be on the front side of.
What about coming into the second session? Like, instead of doing the traditional 5-minute countdown, when we open those doors, worship is starting.
Exactly what he said. And he kind of talks about like, hey, as soon as the first kid enters the room, they start the worship song. And so as you're heading down, it's like,
I think it takes away that awkwardness, like, of what to be doing right now. And it's cool.
We talked about too, just having like a friendly competition between the tables. We're gonna do the trivia thing. Winning table gets to eat first or something like that. And we could use trivia stuff during some of those breaks as a part of,
Make it a lot of fun.
making those transitions, still keeping that interaction going, but more lighthearted, keep building those relationships with people at the table. Hey, right up in my nose.
I was wondering what the shot was. That's good.
nice. Alright,
Topics?
you all tell me, we want to roll into topics? Does everyone have 3?
I have 7.
Yeah, look at it.
I cheat.
7.
That's cheating.
Aye.
Hey, I jotted down some, a thing here that I just wanna, if we wanna make, yeah. If we want them to make a difference, we need to understand why teens don't. Identify the obstacles, knock them down, and then replace them with real answers.
Teens. You're a teen?
Teams or teens?
Teen.
Or a student, you better.
I mean, that's not a topic, but I'm just saying if you know, I'm thinking impact. If I want my students to do something, there's a reason they're not. I need to understand what that reason is and kick it down and then give them something huge positive on the other side that, yeah. So, you know, when I think about this conference thing, I think, here's what I want them to do. So I've got to go, why aren't they given the tools to do it? And we haven't probably identified what we want that student to look like or do on the other end. So that's some stuff to keep in mind. That's all I got to say about that.
All right. I'll go. How to lead when you're not in charge.
Craig Rochelle. Sounds like a Craig Rochelle podcast.
No.
That's a book, ain't it?
Yeah, it's
And Craig.
Andy Stanley's second guy. Yeah. Clay Scourgeon. Everyone has influence. I think that'd be a good way to start. And
Good.
I got some other stuff on that, but I'll just leave it there. Leading yourself before you lead others. Good to great. And in the parentheses, you can put do what no one else is doing so you can be who God wants you to become.
What was your second one?
Second one,
Yeah.
everyone has influence.
Okay. Good. Okay. I'm putting these down here so that
I
she
appreciate it, that's good. Got any more on that?
I do, but I don't really like it.
Alright,
I'll say that one.
my man Brett.
Okay. I don't know how as good of titles, but the first one's like how to help, and that's just a conversation and how to help those around you who are dealing with mental health. Just some practical things on how to help. And I don't know how to word this right, but I have celebrate others, but the whole shtick is celebrating others' uniqueness instead of the fear of the differences. I don't know, like what, there could be some value in that. And then the last one is take someone with you. And that's just a discipleship sort of thing. Just take someone with you.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Servant leadership. You can destroy everything by one word, by one action, by one mistake.
That sounds fun.
And Jesus didn't say, have your youth pastor go and make disciples. He said for you to go and make disciples. So don't wait on someone else, go do it yourself.
motivational talk.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that as well?
Yeah. I think
For real?
Looks like.
Yeah, it's fun.
Alright. And so. I'm paraphrasing this one, so I forgot what you said. You say no?
No.
There's 3 of them, he said.
Servant
Yeah.
leadership, destroy with one word.
Yeah.
Talk about the tongue, maybe. You go, not master go. Great Commission stuff.
One action, word, or mistake, so it's more than words.
In order, actually. What do you say where you
Monte.
Mine kind of all revolved around the goat. What I was thinking, greater symbol. So the greatest showman, you can do it all that. But anyways, themes kind of point to that. I feel like that's in my life when I don't do stuff kingdom minded is because I don't have the right focus, or else I haven't been pursuing Jesus, or else when I was in high school I didn't have this focus until Jesus was personal to me. So this all would point towards him. So basically, one would be like, who is he? When we talk about how Jesus is the Messiah. Did have that conversation around baptisms, type of stuff. Do you know what you mean when you say Jesus is the Christ? So you point towards the Messiah. Another one is how we follow by setting our mind on things above. And then last one is what we do. Love the way he loves you. That's what we do. So, in any of those themes, you can kind of run with stuff. They're pretty.
Nice. JP?
Well, I'm going to speed into these, so.
What's that?
Oh, I'm going to speed into these.
Okay.
Yeah.
GJ, you got anything?
Yeah, lead with your gifts, not other people's.
Oh.
Hmm.
Leveraging your story. And using your failures to win.
Sonny, you want to close us out?
I can.
I can put mine up there. I'll put mine up there and you can close us out.
Okay. Go for
What are your plans, dude?
I know one of mine was talking about barriers and why you don't lead. Often comes with your lid. And if, like saying, okay, if you have the ability of leadership, if God's trying to do something through you, a lot of times we're the one that's stopping the leadership from pouring out into other people. Is because of the sin and mistakes that we make. And this would be something that will hit way more on a personal level. What's the barrier in your life? Why are you not leading the way that God calls us to lead, or influence the way that God calls us to influence? So that's that was one. Another one was opportunities, and kind of talking through every opportunity a student has to make an influence. And most of the time, our eyes don't even see the opportunities in front of us. And a lot of times, as we miss these opportunities, we are still making an influence, but we're making it probably counterproductive from the influence that we may desire to have or that God intends for us to have. So a lot of it's missed opportunities, and I want to be really focused on a table discussion of what opportunities do you have every single day that you goes unseen, that goes amiss. And then the third one plays into, I think, this one, which was really just hitting ownership. I didn't really have a great direction, but allowing students to own what we do as a ministry, where it's not something they come to, but it's something that they are. So those are the three I had. Then Sonny, you got a whole new column for us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, before Sunny, do we have a direction on the worship side, like what those messages would look like or not?
No, that's what we decide.
Should be all
I think-
2003 songs.
I think 2003, 2002 songs, when our students were born.
Oh, so this is front end and back end. maybe
Front end
idea.
and back end. So like, I was
Yes.
thinking this, like for me, I'm thinking this is a 2.
Yeah, and when you wrote those up there, I was like, yeah, I could see those being like.
That's a
back end
2.
stuff.
I think because of opportunities,
Yeah.
this is a 1 because of what the discussion that it leads into.
Yeah.
In ownership, not a really good direction on that.
Let me throw one up there. Just follow that.
That's what I like to hear.
You don't need to get them to church. You get to be the church. And
Uh,
this idea that church is not a location, it's a call, called out ones. Yeah, that's all.
Probably put not just church.
Whatever you want, Brandon. I know that's a little, I understand.
You can hit, talking about being the church 7 times a week, 7.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So right out of the gate, we need to tell them, hey, we want to give you 7 things to, I don't know, to do, be whatever it is. We want to give you 7 things that are going to not help you, but enable you to make an impact 7 days a week. All right. Some of these you guys have alluded to. Remember, knock down the barrier. The first one I have is put it on your radar. That's what you were saying. A lot of people will go without even thinking, make a difference. Maybe even us, when we got up this morning, we just got up, put on our clothes, ate some beans, drank a Diet Coke, and came in.
Mm-hmm.
Every day we make a difference, but anyway, and the whole thing there is why you do what you do, why you go to school, why you join a team. I love knocking heads in football, and the whole idea is, no, you go to school to make a mark. You get on a team to make a mark. You get into a sport, into a club, into whatever, to make a difference. To serve God is kind of the old way of putting it. Anyway. Second one is a barrier. Believe that you can make a difference. And I just have Keokuk and changing the world. And what can happen, but it has to start with you believing I can do this. And then the third one is you're not alone. You've got the Holy Spirit. You've got others. The next one is pray. Start your day off. The next one is look for needs and opportunities. I was hungry and you fed me. This is where I program students. Whenever you walk through a door, do you think there are students in there that God would like to touch today? You think so? You think how many needs are in your classroom? How many do you see? Here's what you need to do. When you walk through that door, just say, God, show me. God, show me. And, you know, making a difference and changing the world up maybe on number 2 is not this, you know, doing the gospel plan of salvation. It's just encouraging somebody. Just, hey, you're kind of not sparkling today. Something wrong? You okay? Anything I can do? I mean, just those little things. Anyway, look for opportunities, walk through the door, pray. Then the next one I have, and this is probably 7, is invite. And it's a woman at the well. She wasn't stellar. She went back into town, told them about the guy. They all came out and they begged him to stay. Get it on your radar. Believe you can. Know that you're not alone. Spend time in prayer. Look for needs and invite.
This one, I got 6.
Okay. Maybe that's all I have because I was jinking them around there.
Alright.
I have an exercise down here. I don't know what this would do, but exercise is what would it look like if Jesus was in your school dressed like everybody else, or the Apostle Paul, but probably more Jesus. What would it look like? Jesus walking down the halls of your school, in your class, on your team. What would that look like? That's what we're after today. I have decided to follow. Serious, you can come forward now. We'll use chairs instead of steps. Or you can just gather at my feet. You can do that. We'll just do that. You can gather here.
Don't forget you're on video.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we'll edit that out. Humility, put blush. The one was about integrity. Is the other one? Is what be? And I don't see it here, but I got it somewhere.
Yeah.
It was live it out. It'll make a huge difference.
We got enough for about 5 conferences.
Yeah, this year's conference, we'll just take the first.
A lot of great stuff. Now I want us to look at the list. I want to think of a couple of things. First of being, what do you feel like, and just kind of make sure you guys know, Josh may even put those other 3, he sent me an email. Talking about self-feeding, abiding in the Word, trying to cook them how to kind of be in the Word. Application was have to take things that you experience at church or in your personal time and actually apply it to the way that you live. And the other one was discipleship, the whole idea of taking somebody with you and let somebody else said. But as we look through these, we need to probably land on 7. And I would say it'd probably be easiest for it to, and maybe we need to end with this because it's going to be kind of where everything falls to, is the 2 ones that are going to be personalized to much inward heart, personal interaction with Jesus in our worship time. And then the other ones, I want you all to think of how do these topics, what kind of response and conversation will it lead the students to at the tables. So if we're talking, let's use, what would Jesus look like? What would it look like for Jesus to walk to the halls of your school? I think that would lead to some pretty interesting conversations at your table. I think
And just to spark them further, I'd want, or on their team, because I want them to start thinking, because they're thinking that, and they're not thinking team, and it's like, wow, they probably do a lot more, because on a team, they're stuck with their friends and probably have more influence, so.
I feel like a lot of these double
like double dip on the exact same topic.
Yeah.
Can you do
Yeah,
one and
there
then your questions be the subset? Like some of you got a lot of great things on there that are application driven. You can feed those into main topics and have that be the question in the conversation they have. Like if I were gonna pick two on the back end, I would pick barriers and I would pick bring someone with you. Those would be the two, I think those are the two biggest heart pulls and tugs. And obviously, looking at the rest, I mean, there's a lot of good stuff out there that we can choose from for the other five. But I mean, if I were gonna choose two things that I wanna hammer home at the very end of the night, those would probably be mine.
Like we're talking to students who should know Jesus, right?
Most of which.
Most of it, yeah. So I like the idea of like coming in, well, you see the front or back, either you come in and remind them right away of why they're there, of who Jesus is, and that's like just an intro thing, it's not one of the topics, it's just like, man, we're here, we're gonna give you 7 things, and this all revolves, because Jesus is the greatest thing. But like, I see a lot of like, our students aren't doing, so however it is again to do something, like, I like what TJ said, like, using your failures to win. When people talk about their story, I think stories up there a lot, uniqueness, but they're helping people. So, failures to win, I was thinking that might be kind of a decent conversation one.
Using failures to win?
Yeah.
Is that what you said?
Yeah. Time out. What's one of the ways you messed up? Like, what's a funny thing? Even when you can get in a bunch of different ways you have failed. But then the speaker could hit it hard, like, spiritual failing or something. Maybe more in there. But then Jesus redeems it.
I think that's a really good practical one. That if every kid walked away with knowing how to take their failures and turn it into an opportunity for God to use it for His glory, we'd all walk away winners. You know what I mean?
You know, even at the core, you're talking about self-hate and shame. I mean, the further you get, and I see all the time with students and adults that, you know, when, like you were talking about, Jason, with the one word, one action, that it'll take one terrible thing for them to prove to themselves that the hate they feel is actually valid. And when they do that, they're gone. And I think it's a great reminder for our students off the bat to say, you know, to remind, yeah, I think we all deal with self-hate in a little bit, some more than others, and shame, but just digging right, hey, this isn't a room of perfect leaders. This is a room of messed up, broken-hearted stories that, you know, if so-and-so would have jumped off the wagon after the one thing, you know. Anyway, that's good, Monty. It's a great place. Because to come down to summer, my guess is a large majority of the students could have some shame. Be good to go right after it. And self-hate that people feel.
Good thoughts.
For the 5 on the front end, or 5 in the first session, I really like the celebrate uniqueness, or, you know, lead with your gifts, not others type thing. Talking about like gift projection and gift envy, those kind of things.
Yeah, the table discussion is to kind of discuss what your strengths are.
Yeah. And then maybe like what strengths you always wish you had,
Mhm.
things like that. So you can hear it on that kind of stuff.
Because if we split campuses, that's that thought that went nowhere, but because we're splitting by campus, they're probably not gonna know the gifts of the other people at the table.
Right, yeah, I thought about that too, being able to speak into each other, but you can't. So on the front end topics, those are also 5-6 minute long, and then discussion time 5 minutes.
Or shorter. I
Yeah.
think a lot of the
Okay.
conversation is us reading their conversation.
Got it. Mhm.
Um,
But just make sure that our 5 minutes is just like a stinking home run, 5 minutes isn't much, so you just take 30 minutes and take the best and just,
Yeah, what I would love, like, so say, just because I know it's one you talked about. So, say we were just talking about leading with your gifts, not others. You're in that conversation. The next topic is using failures to win. I think we have like a bunch video or just something that's interactive that helps break things up.
Mhm.
So they're sitting there, they're all talking, and all of a sudden you hear this video fade in. It's epic fails.
Yep.
30 seconds of that, and then you're right into your to where we do a really quick presentation, but it's the presentation to set up conversation. Almost like 5 minutes might be too long. In that, I think you almost split up like you have 2 minutes here, then you come back and hit another minute to further more conversation. I don't know what exactly. it
Cool.
looks like.
Yeah, the goal, I just feel like the goal of this one is so different than anything. Like, our goal isn't to just blow them away, like with all this stuff or an amazing speaker. Our goal is to have them realize for themselves what's inside of them, have them be the brainchild, have them have ownership. It's like all we're doing on the front end in particular, in my opinion, is sparking a great conversation and then taking those ideas and then presenting maybe the very best of what people have said, up front, so people can just catch what greatness is actually already in the room. We just maybe haven't used it. What's the easiest way to do this, like, because obviously we've got to pick 7 topics. Like, is it easiest to, like, pick out 7, everybody pick out 5 front end, 2 back end, discuss it, and see how to do the best? Or is it to talk about every topic? What's the...
Put a number by each one, because like some, I think they're, well, some of those, we might feel like, hey, it's a 1 to 3.
Is it a thing where each of us write down our top 2 or 3 favorite, and we get that list whittled way down really fast too?
Do your top 2 front end ones and top 1 back end one.
I like that.
Okay.
I emailed this list to all of you. You should have it in your computers if you want to need it for any reason there.
And I would say it's probably not a bad idea if you feel like you have like some that can easily be consolidated. You can write down
Oh, yeah.
as your one. Good one.
We can share what we got. Come back if we need to. We don't feel like we're at a spot. We'll just see which ones come out common.
Okay.
So we'll go this way. Start off. So my 2 on the front end, I have the celebrate uniqueness, using your gifts, not others, whatever. And then leading when not in charge. I feel like a lot of our students, talking to them about leadership, they might be like, how can I lead? I'm not in charge of anything, type of thing. And then my one on the back end is one that I'm not sure we have up there, but just kind of something, maybe it is up there, I'm just not seeing it, but something that really, really, really empowers them and encourages them to share their story or invite other people in terms of like really empowering them to bring someone to that next kickoff event. Like someone that's gonna get up there and really just like work hard with who are you gonna bring back next week or whatever, just so we can tie that into the next week's event. So I don't know what you write down for that one.
I was kind of listening to TJ. This might be really confusing things. It almost seems like we're gonna have a common topic at all our campus times, which is the invite. It's the woman at the well. It's the kind of what you were talking about. I think that's common. Probably if we just want to make that one of our 7 topics, or we put it in addition, like, hey, you've heard all this, so that you can go invite. We just got to figure out if we want to do a 4-2-1 or do a 5-2, and that's kind of like, hey, this is all the culmination of where you're at. And so that's where kind of like I take that out of my 1 because I think we're it's the whole purpose of what we're doing. So I think we had to acknowledge that in planning.
So everybody would do that in their campus time, is what you're saying?
Some version of that.
Some version.
Yeah, some version.
That's a good idea.
It's a no-brainer.
Like that.
And maybe we say like, hey, here's your 7 tools or
Yeah.
7 things that you said so that you can do this, and maybe that's where you put the you go, not pastor go, and like so you have. I mean, I think we got some that all kind of culminate right there. I love the woman at the well. I love the you go, not pastor go, because that's where we're going to be. And I love on the front end of setting. I know Sonny said this earlier, kind of setting the tone of influence. With everyone has influence, and how we can set the tone in that to where what Andre and Sonny we're talking about, but I don't know if that leads to a great conversation. As well, it might just set the tone of what the entire evening is about. So here's my thing. Sorry. On the front end, looking like open your eyes. look for the needs and opportunities partnered with the missed opportunities thing. I'm talking about what would it look like if you did open your eyes? What's something that you walk by every single day? A need that goes unmet or an opportunity that goes missed. I think that leads to some great conversations. And then the other part of that, the second part of the first is talking about leverage your story. And really in that one, we're asking, hey, what's something powerful God has done in you or for you? And so basically, we leverage their story, talk about how powerful their story is, and they have time to talk about like, hey, in 1 minute, explain something powerful God has done through you or for you or around you or however we want to word it. I think that could all generate some really cool conversation, especially at the front side of it. And then on the back side, I think on a personal side, I think talking about the destroying with one word, one action, part of the idea of integrity, can be really powerful. I know we've talked about it in a couple of different lenses, whether it's inward focused or whether it's outward focused to that whole idea. But I think you jeopardize your leadership and influence. And sometimes it only takes one word, one action, one look. And I think that's something they have to struggle with internally. So that's where I think I put it there.
Here's where I go. Pretty much same as Josh. Everyone has influence. I think you got to talk about that. Missed opportunities / seeing the need. I did 3, so my bad. Leveraging your story / using your failures to win. I think you can really combine that together. Talking about how actually sometimes your failures God can use for His kingdom. And then on the back end, the one I have, again, depends if we talk about it in campus time or whatever. It says take someone with you, but it's also the invite. It's also, whichever way you want to slice or dice it or advertise it. I think all these will need to think of a really creative catchphrase, element, all that stuff for it. But those are what I got.
I put on the first one, celebrate uniqueness,
Are you writing these down?
Yeah, real quick, what was your first one? It was influence.
Influence,
Influence, okay. Is that the first time that one was kind of mentioned?
Josh did that one.
Okay.
I thought it more of like an introduction of the event rather than a topic.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was hearing, and then you got to your
I
list.
think we have to do that.
Yeah, but it might be topic number 1, 2.
Yeah, I've got it. Okay.
I kind of find celebrate your uniqueness with everyone has influence. The fact that you are unique means you have influence. So that both together. Then 2, leveraging your story. So if you're unique, you have a story in there too. So that you can kind of
Oh, what was that last one you just said?
The second one is leveraging your story.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
Talk about your uniqueness and kind of go into your story. One in there, 2, third, I put this like number 5, but following, what's leading you. Somebody get their kids, that kind of goes with what's on your radar. Put it on your radar, what is on your radar. What's leading you right now? Is it teams, is it school, is it just what you want to do? Maybe you have to remind them of that. But then the end, I like the integrity one, destroy, one thing can destroy you, can take you out, but then also, I can hold him down, and you wrap it up with he redeems, his grace is sufficient. I think they need to be reminded of that too, that we all operate in his grace, so if you're coming out of summertime and whatnot, you fail, hey, he's got you still.
Okay.
Ready? I really like the what would Jesus look like. I think that'd just be really good conversations as the table. And then missed opportunities. And then on the back end, I think we kind